What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access, and today we are joined by AMG. Thank you for coming through, sir.
What's up, man?
Good to see you as always.
Good to be here.
You obviously put out a lot of iconic music back in the day and still work on a lot of music that I've heard that may not have been released yet.
Right.
But that being said, I wanted to take it back first and kind of go up to what's going on now. But when you look back at, obviously, Bitch Better Have My Money album and song are like your signature moments. When you look back at that record and that album and that single, like, what do you think about now when you hear that song and when you think about that album?
I probably think about the album more than the record, because the record got a whole life of its own that I could never attempt to try to beat again. You know what I mean?
All right.
Great concept. You know, far as the album, I just was trying to do something that nobody kind of did, even though it was elements and stuff I did that was, you know, like my influences was Short and Luke and probably N.W.A. on that album, you know, as far as coming out being an artist. But, you know, we never knew that it would have the impact. We knew it was a good song. We knew we had great records, but we never knew that it was going to be something that lasted this long. Not at all. Not from how they used to count hip-hop out back in the day anyway, you know. Yeah.
And with that, I also thought it was intriguing with the album cover that you didn't have your face on it.
Right.
So do you remember how that came about? With
well,
the
everything from everything that I did, you know, I did all the songs. Aside from New Exercise, that was quick. He remixed it for me because I had another version of it. But you know, his album came out first, and I saw him. He put his face on it, you know, and I was looking at that like, I don't want to do that. I'm selling what I'm selling, as far as the record and the jeans and the, you know, the girl reaching in the pants. You know, it was just the theme of how AMG was, you know.
And what, looking back, what was that theme, would you say?
You know, just a cold nigga, dick slanger, you know, money get it, bitch get it, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Right.
Not really on the pimp shit, but yeah, I used to call myself the teenage pimp, but I wasn't in the streets like, you know, gang banging. I'm not from that element, so.
Right.
As far as content, had player friends, pimp friends, and it turned into something that I could create as a character to do the records from, you know.
And I also thought that on the production side of things, even though some of the funk things like Vertical Joyride with Funky Worm and all those different things, there were elements of what had been done before, but I thought that the way that you guys had flipped it really had a different type of angle to it sonically. So for you, how did you find like putting the different wrinkles musically helped or differentiated you?
I knew the songs I wanted to use and the samples I use on the record. It was just shit that I like.
Okay.
You know, and I never thought anything further than I'm using shit that I want to use, and you know, and you know, as far as sonically, it's like, we just wanted to bump. It wasn't really too much going on, far as, you know, this is my first record, first time really in a real studio recording and cutting shit. So, you know, we just kind of went for it. And you know, my whole thing was like, try to make everything sound about the same, like make all the songs kind of, you know, no matter what tempo or you know, texture we use on top of it or whatever, but. You know, we just kind of went for it, really.
Okay.
It wasn't too much brainstorming behind it.
And then with getting with Select Records, like, how did that come about? Because they obviously had big success with Ken Play and Chubb Rock. And
yeah, they had their things, and I was their first West Coast artist, which was a blessing and a curse, because even though Bitch Better Have My Money, we made that record for $3 grand. Like, it wasn't no big budget behind it. $1,000 to the studio, $1,000 in my pocket. $1,000 to the executive producers, and which were the engineers and the mixers also. I knew I wanted a record, you know. We were all kind of coming out around the same time. Quick, Second and None, myself. Quick came out January '91. By March, he was gold, so we went on the road. I knew I needed a record out because we had recorded Quick Is the Name in 1990, summer 1990 basically. And after that was done, I was like, well, I got to get something, you know. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to catch the wave late. You know what I mean? I wanted to be on the wave where it's kind of cresting. You know what I mean? So I got through the deal with Select for the single, not an album. I got to go on the road with a record. You know, Second to None, they went on tour with an album, but it wasn't out yet. They didn't come out till the fall. So at least I went out with a piece of product that I could present. And that helped doing those shows in all those markets. It helped the song grow because no video, no radio play. You know,
right.
We needed something. So I came back off the tour and went in the studio and cut the album to get out in the fall. So that's how that came about, as far as you know, the whole process of getting that done.
Okay. And then back then, what do you think made your guys like click a crew together? You work in it, and then it works so well.
The synergy. We were all the same age, same type of songs. I've been working with Greedy Greg since like 1987 through my man, he don't like his old rap name, DJ name, Cold Cash, June. And I think around early '89, you know, because Greg had a lot of artists he was dealing with. He's managing Tone Loc too, which is his cousin. And you know, I heard the Quick stuff from Total Track Productions. They're producing a girl named Claudia. And he brought him over. Like, we heard the tape first, we was like, we gotta get this dude, because this shit's amazing, right? So I was working on my stuff. You know, we was basically all just 4-tracking it, making demos and stuff like that. So we got him over there, and he brought second. And from there, we got High C over there, working with us and doing stuff. You know, High C had his own thing with Steve Yano and Tony A. Rest in peace, Steve. And you know, we just all gelled, me, Quick, and Second. We just gelled. We sit up, make songs together, do hooks on each other's songs, and get on each other's records, and just kind of came together like that, like a brotherhood. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and we all were just struggling and trying to make it, but we knew we had something great enough to penetrate the market, and that was going to be good, and that happened to be Quick's record. Select and Profile were bidding on Quick, right? Profile wanted me, Select wanted Quick. Profile, Corey Robbins outbid Fred for DJ Quick's album. Okay. I didn't have a full album. He had a full album done. We only had to go in there and make about 2 or 3 fillers, you know what I mean, on the album. But he had most of the songs you hear on Quick as a Name, they were done before the deal happened. You know, that happened, and that's when I knew I needed a record to go out with, because I was like, all this shit's about to blow. You know, we felt it. We just knew, like, this shit's about to be good. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know whatever happens from this point is going to be amazing, and it was. First album came out in '91, fall '91. Toured for almost 2 years off that record.
Right.
So by '94, I'm going back in the studio to cut. But now rap is different.
Yes.
You know what I mean? A lot of things have changed. R&B is turning into more rap. It's a lot of beats and great songs and great artists coming out, Biggie and all this shit. You know, Tupac's big records. So I was going through the thing of like, okay, do I produce it again? But my production style had changed. I wasn't sampling a lot of you know, sampled up records or whatever. And I was trying to do more musical shit to stop paying for samples. Because that was the big issue back then. It's like, I don't want every sample I use to cost me 20 grand. You know,
makes sense.
That's 10 songs, that's 200 grand. I ain't got that kind of money to be paying people. So, you know, I went through my thing of trying to elevate my production, and actually did a good job, but I took too long with what I was going for. And I kind of lost the passion by the time the process was done of recording the second album, which was Ballin Outta Control. And by the time it came out in '95, which should have been '94, I think I could have called a better break putting it out in '94. And by '95, it was just like, put out a single around the world, you know, shipped out a few 100,000, you know. We don't know what we sold on that record because it was going through Sony. I have no idea. Hopefully it went gold, thank y'all. Who knows? I don't know the sound scans or nothing, but I dropped the ball in the sense of I was growing as a person, number one, growing as a artist and a producer I was trying to be. And I took too long to make the concept work because I was just a different dude. You know, I had too many people telling me what I should do, which I never had before. You know, your first album was just you in a room making beats. It ain't everybody going, you should do this, man. You know, it'd be real good if you do this. And you know, you do want to respect people's opinions that you deal with, but you really should just listen to yourself and your art.
I remember reading back then before Ballin Outta Control came out that you had been one to do or were interested in talking about more like political stuff and different things in your music.
I was paying attention to more business situations, not really political, but having a an eye on what's really going on.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And taking it more seriously than, you growing. I was like 24, 23. Between 23 and 25, it was a change. I moved out of state. I had a serious relationship that I called serious. So I was looking at more of, building a legacy and a longevity through everything I created.
Okay.
As far as making records and everything that went along with that. But that was still my business, was to make songs and to put them out and tour and support the records.
And then obviously you were still putting out a lot of material despite what somebody might have been saying.
Well, I was doing soundtracks and stuff, shit like that.
A lot of appearances as well.
Yeah, I didn't do too much touring off the second record, but I still stayed out. By the time I moved back to LA, 96, Quick hit me. It was like, hey man, I'm about to do another album. He was like, all right, I want you in a couple songs. I said, okay, let's do it, And that's when we started working on Rhythmalism. So Rhythmalism, we cut that. A lot of songs on Rhythmalism, had a ball.
It's a phenomenal album.
Yeah, because the energy was good. And we were still young dudes. We were 26 years old. You know what I mean? You talking about Quick was on his third. I just finished my second. And when they did Arista bought Profile, second got on board and they got to put out their second record, Classic 220. So, it was a lot of records going on and we got the vibe back.
Yeah, and for you, since you had been out of town, I guess, the way to put it,
right.
Did you feel reinvigorated when you moved back or what was going on with
No,
you?
I enjoyed my time away.
Okay.
I never looked at it like that, and it ain't like I left. I came out here at least every couple months.
Oh, okay.
And stayed, and I didn't run away from anything at all. Mm-hmm. My job and what I do in my job and my career is not something you run away from. You can take breaks, you can take a hiatus, you take sabbatical, whatever you want to call it, but it's always going to be my job to do what I do. So far as coming back, my guys had outbursts. We had put Domino out. Moke and Steph, they had a gold record, gold single, platinum single. Domino, 1.5 million records on Def Jam. We had stuff moving. It was a lot of records moving, a lot of things going on from 93 to 96, 97. By 98, we was back dealing with Quick and doing the songs on Rhythmalism, and making it rock. We still rocking and rolling to the 2000s.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. 2000, I got a distribution deal through Warner and put out Bitch About My Money 2001.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also a little bit later you had the Fixers and stuff. So how
2007, yeah.
So how would you say throughout all of this that as an artist, especially since we talked on the production side, like how would you say you evolved or changed as a writer, like lyric-wise?
I like to follow. I like to understand, where the culture is, and it's not too much shock value. Back in the day, we was writing the most wicked, crazy shit because you had to shock people into kind of liking you. Like, I can't believe he said that. That's what we going for, the shock therapy or whatever. But nowadays, you ain't got to do that. I do songs and people swear I'm cussing, and it's like there's no cuss words in it. I didn't say anything really derogatory. It's more like innuendo or whatever because I'm a little older. I ain't got to say them type of things anymore. Because they already heard the worst. They already heard the worst. And I love the ladies.
But I also think, too, that even though some of it was shock value, one thing that I always appreciated it, if you looked at it that way, is that there was like a big element of humor into it, too. It wasn't like...
That's part of my personality, though.
Yeah.
My shit is more comedic based because I study comedy. I study comedians. I study the greats. George Carlin's in the car right now with me when I rode over here. Richard Pryor, Red Fox, all the greats, and tons of comedians. But I have that type of sensibility, and when I write, I'm not writing to prove a point. I'm really writing to entertain myself. That's how I'm self-contained, whether I make the track or whatever, and it's like, what could I write? And just whatever I think of to make the record pop. Every song I make don't turn into a record and it don't come out, but I got a whole bunch of shit in the, what they call it? Back up and lock up or whatever, to where you can see. I sometimes I go back and listen to shit and listen to the growth of where I should have did certain things longer and some other things I should have pulled back from. But I think the Fixers record cleared that shit up. Like, can you work with that? That was for the young people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I made that record at 36. Like, I'm about to show these niggas how niggas is still hot. in a real way, like and do it currently, on time, and we gonna make y'all motherfuckers love it. That's what my point was. So making a record ain't really a hard thing to do. It's time consuming, you know what I mean, and you got to do your homework. But and I would like I always like to make something that could last.
Well, you've definitely done that time and time again.
I tried.
Time and time again. So what are you working on now that people should?
As far as music, not too much. I'm doing more creative consulting with a lot of young groups I work with.
Okay.
And working on getting my branding company together, and I got a couple other little things up my sleeve, but they're not AMG based or music based. So yeah, I'm trying to stay busy, stay current in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there it is, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through the Unique Access.
Thank you,
AMG
man.
in the building.
Yes, sir. Salute.
Be sure to check out the history of gangster rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It would be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on your TV back with N.W.A.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.